Before we get into today's episode, I wanted to have a quick shout out for my favorite show sponsor. You know it from Hotter Than Health, Organifi. Some of my favorite products that I have been using recently, of course, you know about the greens powder, but one thing to note is if you are a traveler, if you are spending the night somewhere else, if you are busy at the office, or you're just moving around, or you want to pack your kids' lunches and you want to add a little more nutrition in there, they make green juice powder packets. So this is going to be something that I'm implementing into my travel schedule. I've got some trips coming up. I can't wait to use these green packets. It's going to make it so easy to get the nutrients in. And if you are also interested in a little more muscle tone, maybe you're wanting a bigger snack, but you don't want to be too full, definitely check out the Organifi Vanilla Plant-Based Protein. It is glyphosate free. It has been tested for heavy metals. It has so many extra probiotics and digestive enzymes, making it extra easy to break down. So again, big thank you to Organifi for hosting and sponsoring the podcast. Again, you can check out Organifi and get 20% off of your order at Organifi.com/HTH. Check on the link in the show notes to be directed there. Again, you want to check out the vanilla protein and the green juice powder packets. Those are my favorites, but truly any of their products are going to be amazing. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Check out Organifi, Organifi.com/HTH for 20% off. Welcome to the Hotter Than Health podcast, a plant-dominant podcast and resource for those looking to expand and elevate their health. Every Thursday, you can expect provocative and engaging topics, entertaining interviews, and some of the biggest names in health and wellness. Be prepared for tangible tips and takeaways, and to fully understand what it means to live an optimized and energized life. Announcement. This is coming from a dear friend of mine, Ashley Lauren. She has been on the podcast before, speaking all about healing the nervous system and different modalities to create inner peace and really creating the life that you desire. Absolutely. Go check that episode out. I know you all will love it. But she has a quick announcement. She is hosting a wellness luxury retreat February 22nd through the 27th of 2022. So it's coming up. You can tend to the garden within. On this retreat, you will plant the seeds to create a life filled with intention, meaning, and purpose. She's dreamed of offering an immersive wellness experience in Tulum for years because of its beauty and its spiritual nature. All right. So this retreat is a once-in-a-lifetime experience for mind, body, and spirit. You can expect a dreamy 5-night, 6-day in a luxury private villa that has been nicknamed the Jungle Oasis. You can expect 2 daily classes with Ashley, Ayurvedic fasting approaches to purge toxins from the body and free energy for healing, balanced meals daily cooked by a private chef in the stunning villa, 2 off-campus excursions. You can deepen your understanding of the healing arts, learning tools to develop self-healing and practice, and support your health and happiness. There's also fun, relaxation, and free time to recharge and explore Tulum. So you can definitely check out Vinyasa yoga, meditation, breath work, inner child healing, just to name a few. There are a number of different packages, and if you want to make sure that you are getting all of the details, I know that she's offering a discount for anyone signing up before February. So all of the info can be received at Ashley Lauren Wellness on Instagram, or email Ashley at ashleylaurenwellness.com. Again, she's offering 3 tiers of packages with specials. So this is absolutely, if you've been feeling called for some healing and some relaxation, this is your time. It's coming up, so you don't have to wait. Go ahead, sign up. She has 2 spots available, and I absolutely know it's going to be a divine experience. You can check out Ashley Lauren Wellness on Instagram, or email Ashley for more information at hello@ashleylaurenwellness.com. Hello. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Hotter Than Health. I am your host, Eliza Gelman. I don't even know where to start with today's guest. We have Travis Rosbach. You may have heard of Travis, you may not have, but you have heard of one of the largest in the health wellness product industry. You may have heard of Hydroflask. What is Hydroflask, you may ask? Give it a Google. I guarantee you, 99% of people, if you Google that right now, Hydroflask, you will say, oh, I've seen that before. Or, oh, yeah, my neighbor has one. My cousin have one. Hell, I have one. Or, hey, my gym sells them. Or I've seen them in Whole Foods. 99% of you will know what this is. You will not know who Travis is. This has been one of the most fascinating episodes, and not for the reasons that you may think. It's amazing that he built $1 billion company. It's amazing that he's traveled all over the world. It's amazing that he has proven himself as one of the top entrepreneurs in the world. He's done a lot. What you won't know, but you will, about Travis is the dark side that comes with business, the dark side that comes with success. And to take it one step further, I don't even think that you're necessarily, I don't think we're going to even fully reach the breadth of what Travis has gone through. And that's why I had to make this a 2-part episode. I could not stop talking to Travis when we started interviewing. Him and I had this connection that was full of trust and curiosity. He was vulnerable and open, and we actually got the opportunity to talk about things that he has never spoken about on podcasts, never in interviews, never anywhere else except for Hotter Than Health. He opened up about situations that have happened to him that I couldn't even begin to relate to. My jaw was to the floor, and I know yours will be too. I implore you to listen until the very end. It's like waking up from a dream and then realizing that you're still dreaming. So I know that's cryptic, and I know that there's been a lot of lead up to this episode. I couldn't be more proud of this interview. We go absolutely everywhere. And I know I normally say that, and we end up talking about poop, and we end up talking about, sex or food, daily routines, bizarre strategies in business and in lifestyle. This is much different. This will absolutely shock you at the end and leave you wanting more and absolutely salivating for the next episode. I want to say a big thank you to Travis Rosbach for being on the podcast and opening up, being this vulnerable. I hope he listens to this episode. He has been on hundreds of other podcasts, and something about this one allowed him the opportunity and platform to express things that he has not opened up about, whether it's his beliefs, his opinions, his experiences, his wisdom. And I think that we can all go into this with open minds and patience and really listening. This guy, he needs to write a book. I think that a lot of the times on these podcast episodes, people really resonate with the stories. And even if you can't relate to any of these situations, you're going to want to keep listening. I'm so impressed and proud to call this person a friend now. So thank you so much, Travis, for opening up. He is, without further ado, our guest for today. Not only is Travis Rosbach a scuba dive master instructor, he is a boat captain. He's an airline pilot. He's a world explorer, a yoga instructor, an entrepreneur. He's built billion-dollar businesses. He now is the founder of the Tomalo group, which I hope I'm saying right, but I said it with him and he said, okay, yeah, you got it right. So I'm practicing again. The Tomalo group, which is definitely an investor's and entrepreneurial business dream to be a part of. He was the founder of Hydroflask, which again, is a super significant entrepreneurial feat that it stands as one of the largest brands in the industry still today. And there has been a lot of enhancements in the industry. Anytime you see a Yeti cup or a Healthy Human or any type of insulated cup, that all came from Hydroflask. This guy has not only created one of the most outstanding products on the market for hydration, but he has also established himself as an adventurer, a storyteller, and an overall liver of life and conveyor of wisdom. He has so much knowledge and wisdom to impart in all of us. So I know you're actually going to love this. And if you start hearing the beginning of the episode and you're like, what is she talking about? Just wait. Just wait. It'll surprise you just as much as it surprised me. And then we take it even deeper. So we just continue to dig here. Before we get into today's episode, I appreciate all of the show sponsors for today. And I also just wanted to mention, and we will try and only do one commercial break throughout this episode so that you guys can have a more smooth flowing interview. But I did want to mention that I will be taking on 2 to 3 nutrition clients for one-on-one nutrition programming. We work together for 3 months. If you do want more information on that, absolutely send it to a friend. Let me know. You can book a complimentary strategy call on my website, elizagwellness.com, and book a free strategy call to see if it's a good fit for us to work together. And if it is, fantastic. If not, that is also fine, and you'll leave with some clarity either way. But I will be taking on 2 to 3 nutrition clients in the next 30 days. If you want that to be you, absolutely schedule your strategy call now. If you have not already signed up for the monthly plant-based meal plan plus audio experience, then do so. It's just under monthly meal plans on the website. And if you have more questions about that, feel free to reach out directly. Without further ado, I am so excited to introduce you to our guest today. Welcome, Travis Rosbach, to the Hotter Than Health podcast.
Nice. Now it told me that this is being recorded. Look at that. We're off to get started.
This is how billion-dollar businesses are made, just by figuring it out.
Well, Google. I tell you how many times prior to Google, I used to buy the idiot's guides to whatever, or the dummies guides or whatever they were called. And I mean, like, I'm talking everything, like boat captain, pilot, rock climber, how to make money or millionaire, whatever. Like why not? And every single one of them worked. Like, I was a professional rock climber. I was a boat captain. I was a commercial airline pilot. I made $1 million+ dollars. It's like, it fucking works. So now we have Google. So yeah.
Now we have Google, but I think that it's gotten so easy that the saturation of information that we have, now we have to rifle through it. So needle haystack situation to find something that really clicks. Whereas in the past, it would just be, okay, here's this formula, stick to it. But now there's all these external sources that are saying, oh yeah, well, I did it a little differently. You can try this. So there's like a lot of birds chirping in the ears.
That's a good analogy. And yeah, you're absolutely spot on. I think there's a lot of false information that goes out there also just for the whatever of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not serious, but yeah.
Well, Captain Travis, I've already done a little bit of a bio on you, so you don't have to give your whole regular spiel unless you want to, but I kind of want to I like to jump right into it. I like to get weird, ask some questions. We go everywhere on this podcast. We might ask you some questions that you might have not had. So hopefully we can get some new neural pathways moving and flowing. You are the creator of Hydroflask. And before we get into the creation of Hydroflask, tell us what you were like as a child growing up. Were you creative? Were you stubborn? Were you like class clown, or were you nose in the books?
Yeah. Come out firing all cylinders, don't you? I think I was kind of a hybrid of all of the above. I think that I had a little bit of, I had rebellion. I was a bit rebellious, and I was a bit of a hooligan, but not like a major troublemaker, just enough to kind of keep myself entertained. I got bored easily. I spent a lot of time in trouble and grounded. I spent a lot of time reading books. In Salem, Oregon, it rains a lot. And so I was constantly just spending time inside reading and just trying to figure out how to get out of the Willamette Valley as quickly as possible. Mm-hmm. And then when I was 14, I met my dad. Well, when I was 12, actually, I started to travel. And I got a bookshelf. I inherited a bookshelf from my neighbor, and it had business books on it. And it was just like, I knew I was stepping through a portal into another reality. And so that happened when I was 12. I started to travel. I just went down to Phoenix when I was 12 by myself. This is way before 9/11. You could actually do that. And so I had a real wanderlust at a real young age, I would say.
I love that. And did you have siblings, or did you have to really entertain yourself?
Well, both. My mom got remarried, and so my half brother, my youngest half brother, is 7 years younger than me, and so by the time he came along, I was already kind of like not really digging the whole household thing, and so I spent a lot of time on my own and with my buddies. And then I had another brother who, he was approximately 9 years younger than me. And then my mom took off to Romania and adopted my sister, who's Romanian gypsy. And she's younger still.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you went to Phoenix, and I moved to Charleston from Scottsdale. Love it so much. Dream place in the whole world. Dreamiest. When you say you traveled there by yourself, of course it wasn't this full cross-country trip, but it's still getting on a plane by yourself. Were you actually by yourself? Were you like, hey, mom and dad, I saved up my nickels and or mom, I don't know about the dad, but hey, I saved up my pennies and I'm going to Phoenix. You can't stop me. I'm going to go to stay at a hotel. Did you have friends, family? What was going on with that?
Yeah, well, what happened was, so my mom got married. So my mom and dad divorced when I was super duper young. They're neither one of them have ever been able to tell me how old I was or when that happened, but I think it was pretty straight away after I was born. And then my mom remarried when I was 5 to my stepdad, my ex stepdad, and he was Vietnam vet, Agent Orange, alcohol, drugs. Like this was like 80s hardcore gnarly shit going on. And they divorced. So I saved and saved and saved, and I bought a TV. It was like, I remember it was $199. It was 19 inches, and I had my own TV. It was pretty dope. However, in one of his drunken rages, he threw it out the window, and it just got bashed all up. It just was all tore up. And I had a buddy who saw it later, and he's like, he said, "What did you do? Drop your TV a couple hundred times?" I was like, "Yeah, it does look like shit, doesn't it?" So I sold my TV and I made like $100. And at that point, my aunt's husband's sister was visiting from Phoenix, and she just kind of, as she was walking out the door, she's like, "If anybody ever wants to come visit, it's always sunny in Phoenix." So about that February, I'm thinking, I heard it's sunny in this place called Phoenix. And so I took my $99 and I got a round trip ticket, and I went off to take a couple of weeks and stayed with her and her biker boyfriend. And that was a bloody trip. It was incredible. We went up to Sedona and did the slide rock, and it was a lot of fun. So
cool.
And I also, I'm sorry, like now that you're bringing up all these memories, another really vivid memory I have about that trip was I was flying back, and the flight attendant came and she sat down on my armrest. And I was only 12, but I remember thinking, wow, she's beautiful. And here she is talking to me. Like, this travel thing is pretty cool.
Can you imagine a 12-year-old and having this beautiful flight attendant basically sit on the arm of their chair now? Like, the world used to be so easy.
Yeah.
So easy. That's awesome. So you had this great taste in your mouth of independence, and I guess that catapulted you into it doesn't sound like you really ever had a 9 to 5.
I've not. They scare the hell out of me. Like that to me sounds like the scariest thing I could ever imagine. I did try right around 2011. Well, actually, literally on 9/11, I was becoming a pilot, and so I took on a part-time job at a dive shop in Salem, and that was the closest 9 to 5 that I ever had.
Yeah, but still feeding your passions.
Yeah, I lasted, I think, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks. And then 9/11 happened. I was like, nope, I got to figure something else out. But
I was also fired from one of my first 9 to 5s. I was like, this is clearly not working for me. But okay, so fast forward, this was when you were, preteens, and you are now the founder of a $1 billion water bottle company, something that I assume you never thought you'd say to get ever. So talk to me a little bit, because the Hotter Than Health podcast, we do have a very health conscious group of people who, yes, they want to hear stories and entrepreneurship, but they also want to hear a little bit about health. When you're traveling and when you are trying to stay at the top of your game, what are some things that drew you to creating a water bottle?
Well, I was thirsty. I mean, that was the main thing. I could not find a water bottle that I wanted to use. There were 2 other brands on the market. One had BPA in it. It was made out of aluminum, and it was just awful. And they were lying to the customers, and they were real rude to me when I called them. And then the other one was just, what's the word? Dismal. It was like dismal. Like every time I drink out of it, it'd spill all over my face and I'd feel silly. And I was just like, I don't see the attraction here. And so I figured that if I could make a bottle that I wanted to drink out of, I could just give it to other people and other people would want to drink out of it. And I always knew, like when I was a pilot, I was also rock climbing a lot at that time. And I knew that there was a direct correlation to my hydration level and my physical prowess. Is that the right? Like I was a much more physically, when I lived in the Virgin Islands, we drank Budweiser and Coca-Cola. There was not a lot of water to be had. There just was not water to be drank in the Caribbean I should say at Cane Bay Dive Shop. We did not have water really to drink. We had to go clear across the island to go buy it. And they seldom had it at Kmart. And that was our only and Plaza Extra only sometimes had it. Like it wasn't a common thing for us to drink water when I was a diver or a boat captain or a pilot, even for the airlines. So when I became a rock climber and I started hydrating more and more, I got a plastic water bottle. And I remember thinking it was like 33 ounces. Well, it was like a liter. And I was like, what am I going to do with all this? This will last me a week. And I drank it and I was like, damn, I feel good.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, if I feel this good from drinking water, I wonder if other people would as well. Find out they do. There's a direct correlation.
There really is. And I tell people all the time, people will call me, and I have clients that are like, I didn't realize that I would feel so much better pooping every day because I'm drinking more water. And everything is amplified and optimized when you drink more water, and everything. And so, okay, you create this water bottle. We don't have to go into the full mechanics of the shape and the design, but I do kind of want to touch on the design a little bit. So you've got this, so Hydroflask does a really great job of appealing to men and women. And it also makes it really easy to drink water. I remember I would drink out of a Nalgene, and I still love Nalgene, but I would drink out of water and it would spill all over me, or the inside of the lid would get grimy and moldy and almost that viscous, spitty type of texture. And so I was like, okay, that sucks.
Cool. Good.
Yeah, like that's not sexy. And so what did you what were your thoughts when you were designing the Hydroflask? Was the first iteration of it with a straw or without a straw?
So the first iteration was without. These are really good questions. So when it hit that, okay, I'm going to do a water bottle, that's it. It's going to happen. I went all over. I was living on Oahu, and I went all over. I bought every juice bottle, every beer bottle, every pop bottle, every water bottle. I bought every single liquid containment unit that I could possibly find. And I bought these calipers, which made me feel super smart. They're like these things that measure distances.
Oh, yes.
Like microscopic distances that I can imagine scientists would use. And I would get the thickness of the mouth, and I'd think that's too thin, that's too thick, that's too far, that's too short. And so I just did a ton of research on orifices and figured out, like, what is the good size mouth? What do I like to drink? Do I like to drink hot out of it, or cold out of it, or just regular temperature out of it, or all three? And after a few weeks of doing this like that, they kind of get a little gross, right? And so I got to see, okay, well, this thread pattern that's on the outside here, like this, collects more bacteria than this thread pattern. And so I got to put all of that together in that first mouthpiece.
You see all these, I saw a photo the other day somewhere on Instagram, and athletes, they'll, like, college athletes, or I don't know, professional athletes, they have their green Gatorade water, and you just kind of push it and it pops a little bit at you.
Free. Yeah.
Yes. And yeah, it could be like mouth free, like the trainers will come onto the field. Yeah. And so, but they showed a picture, and people with these jugs or these plastic bottles, they'll open them up, and they haven't put them in the dishwasher in months. And there's these specks of black mold all over the Gatorade bottle. And these people are just constantly consuming, but
flavor masks the bacteria, I guess. Mm-hmm. So they don't know that they're drinking it. They don't smell it or taste it because and I'm sure that those water kids that are giving them water, they don't even think to wash them.
Mm-hmm. That's nasty. It's pretty gnarly. Well, also think about it. Like, you don't see it. You don't see it on the inside, but yours, when you open them up, when you go to clean them and fill them up with water, it's clear enough on the inside that you see the inside of it. That's what I think is really appealing about it, is that it makes the water look really appetizing and appealing. Tell us about the first sale of your water bottle, how you knew it was going to be successful. And then after that first sale, what was the first moment where you really thought, oh my God, this is going to be big. This is going to be successful?
Yeah, the first sale was up at Portland Saturday Market, up by, everybody knows Voodoo Donuts up there.
Oh yeah, 4-hour line.
Yeah, for a piece of sugar. And it's, under the Burnside Bridge. So the Saturday Market was a pretty big deal in the 80s and 90s. I kind of grew up going up there, and it was like, I imagined it's where all the hippies went to hawk their goods, really, is what it was. And so that was really as far as my eye could see, was we're going to go to the Portland Saturday Market and hawk some water bottles and see what happens. And I remember the lady's name was Mona, who ran the whole thing. And she said, no, you can't sell these here. Nobody, first of all, we have a guy who sells water. The guy who sells elephant ears sells Pepsi products and water. So you can't sell water bottles. We're like, no, there's no water in the bottle. It's just a bottle. She's
and
like,
if we sell water, it'll be free. That's fine. Just the water is free.
Exactly. And she's like, no, nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to buy your water bottles. And I was like, well, can you just we came all this way, maybe give us a shot. And she's like, fine, just go out by the railroad tracks and just go try it out there. And I was like, awesome. This is great. We got a potential, place to hawk our goods, hawk our wares. And, luckily it was like a 97-degree humid day. It was just nasty. And I'd put ice cubes in the bottle the night before. And so like 2:00 in the afternoon, people would come up and I just put a bottle in their hand and they'd look at it, they'd see ice and they're like, well, how has that happened? That's, and then they'd see on the piece of duct tape, it'd say Friday at like 5:00. They're like, magic. And so I remember the very first sale happened fairly quickly because again, it was so hot and he's like, I need some water and do. And I think, Portland and Oregonians in general are fairly green. I mean, we're fairly health conscious and also environmentally conscious. At least I hope to think that we are. And so our first sale went like that and he bought it and he walked away happy. And then I remember the next weekend, Mona put us right back out on the railroad tracks, and the line went and it wrapped around the corner and it went past her office, and she started getting pissed that people were lined up in front of her office. And so she went out to see what was going on, and it was the water bottle people. And she's like, all right, fine, just come inside with everybody else. And then pretty soon she would like start discounting our price because she wanted us there so bad. And
wow.
She was like knocking people out to give us like a season pass to be inside because people were coming from all over Oregon and Washington to the Saturday market to buy these. And they were buying like 10, 15, 20 at a time because they wanted to get them back and get them to their employees or their families and things like that.
Yeah, that's amazing, especially in the heart of summer. And it's appealing because it keeps it warm. Maybe you have tea and you want to keep it nice and lukewarm during the day. Like that's something that I would definitely see. Or you're out skiing, you shove it in your pants, you like keep it warm a little bit. But that's so cool. And I think you mentioned it in the very beginning of that story, is that was really your only scope of what you could observe was the next step. You were like, I don't know how to make this big, so I'm just going to start with the first step that's right in front of me, which is a local farmer's market. It's not that you made, and I know this from another podcast of yours that I listened to, but you didn't bring 1,500 water bottles that you like really hustled to get and then thought, oh my God, I have to go to Walmart or Target or a superstore to start selling them. You started small and you scaled up and you observed bigger and bigger and bigger. So what was your lowest point before starting to sell and make progress? What was your lowest point where you thought, I'm done? This is too much. We're broke. We got 3 kids on the way. Like, what did it look like?
If you're listening to this podcast, chances are you're one of those people that wants to take charge of your health and wellness. You're striving to live a longer, better, healthier life. You want better energy, better sleep, better sex, a healthy immune system. All right. But there's so much information out there. It's so challenging to actually get a picture of what is going on inside of your body. You don't know who to trust when it comes to health, wellness, and performance guidance. And you want to know that your diet and exercise choices are actually helping you rather than hurting you. This is exactly what Inside Tracker has been designed to solve. Inside Tracker is a guide to illuminating your path towards your personal best. It's an inside ultra personalized performance system that analyzes data from your blood, DNA, lifestyle, and fitness tracker to help you optimize your body and reach your health and wellness goals. This is not a one-size-fits-all program. It's science-backed and it's optimized. So they don't necessarily just show you what a normal biomarker zone is. They'll actually show you the optimal biomarker zones and the numbers that fit best for your body. They're using DNA, blood, fitness tracking, and real time to complete a picture of what's going on inside of your body. So you can track your progress and adjust based on real-time feedback from your body. You can retest every 3 months using blood improvements and different changers within your system. So what we want to do is really take a picture of what is going on the inside of our body so that we can figure out, is our lifestyle and our diet and our sleep actually going to help us with our performance and our longevity. All right. We don't need to just be playing these guessing games anymore. All right. So Inside Tracker is offering our audience 25% off of the entire Inside Tracker store. Just go to insidetracker.com/hotter-than-health. Again, it's insidetracker.com/hotter-than-health. You can actually have a phlebotomist come out to your house, take your blood, help you understand with all of the tools already under your belt that come delivered straight to your door, and you'll figure out exactly what is going on in your body. I am so excited for this process. I'm so excited to see what's going on with my biomarkers, with my aging, my genetics, all of that good stuff. So sign me up. I'm so pumped. Again, for a limited time, 25% off of the entire Inside Tracker store. Just go to insidetracker.com/hotter-than-health. Again, that is insidetracker.com/hotter-than-health. Check out the show notes for links and details. Thank you so much for sponsoring today's episode. There's honestly nothing more important than taking care of yourself, because if you're not feeling your best, you can't be your best. Sambucol helps you feel your best with powerful immune support, powered by nature's superfruit, black elderberry. I have personally been taking the black elderberry gummies. I'll take a couple at a time. I know they say, yeah, definitely take one, but I've been taking like 2, 3, 4 per day, honestly, just because they feel so good. I can only imagine that if I have kids someday, or if I have kids around, then this is going to be the easiest way to making sure that they're getting the immune support that they need, covered with potent antioxidants. They are so easy. Flavor is great, and who doesn't love a good gummy, right? So for the limited time, you can get 15% off of your next order of $9.99 or more at sambucolusa.com. Use the code HOTTER15 for 15% off at checkout. Again, it's Sambucol, SAMBUCAL, sambucolusa.com, to get immune support from nature's superfruit. I'm so excited. Definitely make sure that you are checking out the chewables, the gummies. They're so easy. You pop one every single day and make sure that you know that you're getting all the support that you need. Again, 15% off of your next order of $9.99 or more at sambucolusa.com. Again, SAMBUCOLUSA.com. Use the code HOTTER15 for 15% off at checkout. Thank you so much for being a sponsor of today's episode.
I hope I don't have 3 kids.
I don't know that much about you.
Somebody needs to say something about that.
Like, what's in these water bottles?
You brought up a really good point. Like I wasn't, my aspirations and dreams were not to get into REI and to get into Whole Foods and to get into Dick's Sporting Goods and Cabela's. Like that was never my intention or my goal. However, my goal was complete world water bottle domination. Like I did really want to hydrate the masses. I wanted everybody drinking water out of a clean, safe. After I heard that the competition was putting BPA in their bottles and they were lying to the general public about it, I thought, excuse my language, but I thought, you know what? Fuck you. I'm taking a run for you. Like you can't do that. That's not cool. That's not the way this, system is set up to be. And so I think that also if they find that they want to do something and that there's already a competitor on the market, that can be a good thing, because that competitor can be, if you look at it like they're paying the marketing dollars for you, they're putting out the word that this is a viable product and that they
give it credibility.
Credibility, that's the word. They lend a credibility factor to it. And so if you can come in and you can do a version 2.0 or 3.0 of what's already on the market, well, then do it. Like, that's awesome. People will listen and they'll pay attention. I think the lowest point actually came after we were up and running. Like my life up to that point was a very tumultuous up and down and all over the board. Like I was a pilot, I was a boat captain, I was a dive instructor. I traveled all over the planet, and I had, various amounts of success in different businesses, and some were enough where I could retire out to Hawaii for a few years. Others were like, I needed I needed cash because I couldn't afford macaroni and cheese. So I was really accustomed to the highs and lows, but then I think when Hydroflask really took off and the demand came and we needed so much money so quickly, that's when I really started to get like kind of down. I was kind of like, dang, like if I can't deliver to the masses, like I said, I would be able to, then I'm, I felt a bit hypocritical. And I remember I was never in charge of paying the bills. I was just always in charge of doing everything else. And we got 40,000 bottles in. It was a huge, huge $250,000, $300,000 order. It was massive. And we were less than 6 months old. And they came in and they were rusted. And some of them were not insulated. And something had clearly happened. I'd spent about a month at the factory and I got, I don't know, bird flu, swine flu, whatever the flu du jour was at that time. And I'd go to the factory during the day. I'd go to the hospital at night, and the hospital kept wanting to admit me and keep me there. And I was like, first of all, I'm going to die if I stay here. Second of all, I got shit to do. I got to go to work. So every morning then I'd go to the hotel for like 2 hours and brush my teeth and try to sleep and then go right back out to the factory. So I'd gone through all of that. And then I get home to find that we had rusted bottles.
What do you do?
I said, damn it. And then I jumped on the plane and went right back. And I got to the factory and I told the translator, I was like, I've lost everything. We're done. And I'm going to throw the guy out the window. And I'm, like, I don't mind at this point going to Chinese prison. Like I'm finished. And luckily they kind of talked me out of that. We figured out what had caused it. And I negotiated a 40,000 bottle replacement order to be started straight away. And I got back and the banker called me in and she's like, Travis, you don't have any money. I'm like, well, no shit. You could have just told me that on the phone. I know I don't have any money. Like I said, but I do have 40,000 bottles. I didn't tell her about the rust. And she was like, all right. And I thought, like, what happens to people who don't have any money? Like, do I go to jail or what's going on?
Yeah, I think because that is what people are most scared of, is that moment where you're like, or just getting to that moment. It's rare not rare, but not everyone's going to get to that moment where they are told we have no money. So yeah, what is the next step? What does happen?
Well, it sucked too, because I was really hungry. It was about lunchtime and I was extremely jet lagged from getting back from my second round trip to the factory. And it was awful. And so we'd had about 14 employees working in the back of the warehouse in the world headquarters to check and see, are they insulated? Are they not insulated? Are they rusting? Are they not rusting? Because some were, some weren't. And I remember the banker, she started crying at the end of, telling me how bad things were. And she's like, I just absolutely love your product. Like, I'm drinking water. My husband has noticed and he finds me more attractive. My kids are happier and healthier with me. And my whole world is better. And she's like, in fact, I'm get that desk over there. Speaking of the 9 to 5, she's like, I'm moving from the cubicle to the desk. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, that's awesome. And she's like, yeah, like, we'll give you a stay of execution.
Like, what does that mean?
Well, like, she wasn't going to close us down, because she was a fan. And I was like, okay, well, I get another week to live, I guess.
Yeah.
It got back to the headquarters and there was no Spanish music playing in the back. And I thought that was kind of strange, because where are these 14 employees? Well, they were gone. We had one employee. She was gone. My one partner, she was gone. Everybody was gone. And I get this like Dear John letter. Yeah, so your partner ran off to Hawaii again. I fired all of the employees and I quit. And so I'm like,
wait, who the fuck was doing this?
We had one employee and I had one partner. My one partner it just was too tough. I mean, it was too hard for her. So she waited. Luckily, she waited till I got back, and then she bolted. Like she waited until I went to the bank to go get in trouble. And she's like, fuck it, I'm out. So she bolted. I get back, she's gone, and all of the employees are gone. Like the 14 employees were gone. And
hello.
yeah. And I was really, really hungry. And so I went, and I knew I had no money in the bank. I had no money in my pocket. I go over to the cash drawer, and it's like basically like nothing. Like the money's gone. Like there was a couple pennies in it. Like she even stole the change. And I had
Wow.
40,000 potentially arrested water bottles in the back. And it was just like, so I think that was definitely one of the lowest points of Hydroflask for me.
One of those moments where looking back, we can laugh, but in the moment, it's just, you're so low, and it's probably going to get a little lower, and then it'll get better. But in the time, all you see is what's right in front of you, and what's all around you is just amongst this chaos. But I think that the fact that you had that testimonial 5 minutes prior made it all like, okay, I can do this. It's just going to be much harder than I expected. So thank you for sharing that story. And I wanted to touch on this just because I think so many people listening to this podcast, you know, we just love stories. I just want to make a story time podcast that has to do with health. So what is, and this is completely nonlinear, what is the wildest, most memorable thing that happened to you, either working on the boat or scuba? I'm talking like attacked by an octopus on the face, sharks. I don't know.
I remember, okay, I was, so St. Thomas and St. Croix. I lived predominantly in St. Croix, but I also lived in St. Thomas, and I worked out of St. John low-key water sports with Bob and Anne Marie. Awesome people. Whole nother great story. That'd be a good movie, actually. There are islands in between St. Thomas and St. John. Lavongo, which used to be a whorehouse island, Love and Go. Lavongo, Mingo, Grassy, and Thatch. Lavongo, Mingo, Grassy. So I was at Grassy, and it was the very first dive after I became a dive instructor. And I'd been a dive master there for lots of dives, like tens and 20s, 30, like lots and lots, 50 plus dives I dove at this one dive site. And I had 4 people with me, and they were all certified. And even though I was a dive instructor, they were certified. I was actually just being a dive master. And I found this huge crack in the wall, like in this island. And I thought, I wonder where it goes. Like, I've never seen this before. It's this just massive fissure. And so I was like, hey, are you guys cool? And they're like, yeah, I mean, you're in charge here. I'm like, oh, okay.
They're like, we were just doing what you say.
Like, you screwed up with that, didn't you? So we went in this crack and just kept going and going and going. And then pretty soon we have to like start swimming like up and around and like going all around. And then I realized, I was like, we're going to come out on the other side of the island here. Like, this is really cool. And so sure enough, we came out, and I had been to the backside 1,000 times, but I didn't recognize where we were. And I was like, well, this is weird. You guys stay here. I'm going to go up and look around. And so I left them. I went up, I looked. I had zero clue where we were. I had like no idea where we were. It's like, all right, well, got to figure this out. So went back down, picked them up, and I thought, well, as long as we just keep going, I guess it would be southeast, we should be okay. And so we kicked and kicked and kicked southeast for quite some time. Sure enough, the big guy, he shows me his gauge. He's running low on air. Like, okay, I got to go back up and look. I go up, I look, and now it looks completely radically different, all the same. Like I don't know, like it looked like I was on the backside of Jurassic Park or something. Like
I would be shitting my wetsuit.
It was one of those times I was like, oh fuck. And I couldn't see the boat. I couldn't see anything. I could see no thing that I recognize. I mean, I live here. I know where Joost Van Dyke is. I can usually see it right over there. There's Foxy's. Nope, it's not there. I can see St. Thomas isn't there. Fuck. So I go back down. I'm like, well, we've been going southeast. That doesn't work. Let's go back northwest. And so we turn around, we go back northwest, and I find the crack in the wall. I'm like, best thing we can do is like retrace our steps. And so we go back through the crack and we circle around and we go through this whole big thing and we come out and boom, there's the boat. And it was like, it was incredible because I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah. And you had to stay calm too.
I had, because I was the dude in charge. Like for some reason they let me in charge. I was probably about 19 at that point. It was one of those. And then the people, like I get back up to the boat and they're like, I don't know that I really enjoyed that dive. I'm like, really? You didn't like going
euphemisms?
Yeah. So,
that is really funny. Have you, it gives me paralyzing fear to consider going through a crack with minimal water. And I mean, I think that 99% of the world has a little bit of claustrophobia. Have you seen the movie, total tangent, have you seen the movie The Rescue?
Oh, with the kids trapped in the thing, in the cave? I started it, but I haven't seen it. No.
If you would, I mean, you will be deceased. It is absolutely the most petrifying, rewarding. It takes you on so many different adventures. And that's kind of what I picture, because they had to go like 2 hours through these underwater caves and then rescue children. And I won't give any more detail than that, but you need to watch it. It sounds like that would be very much up your alley, because you could appreciate the calm that is needed when you have a group around you, because that's a big part of the movie, is when they have a feeling that these people are going to be panicking underwater. They're like, you're going to kill us all. And so like, it's a really, really intense situation, but they said that it was the most calming. It's the most calming place for them to be underwater, because it's silent, it's quiet, but at the same time, you're underneath tons of rock, tons. Anyways, well, that is so cool. And it definitely makes me want to quit life and move to the Caribbean. Sounds really nice.
Yeah, but it's on my list. I think I started out my life in the Caribbean really young, and a lot of people go there to die. It's a better place to go to die than it is to start out. So we had a lot of people who would just go missing. Like we'd meet people at the bars and at the dive shops and on the boats and stuff. And they were really cool people. And we had to have, a lot of fun, and we'd hear their backstory, and then they're gone. Yeah. And a lot of them would get picked up by the federal marshals. A lot of them would just kind of up sticks and take off because somebody was chasing them, or some of them would just die from alcoholism or whatever. And I always thought, you know what? I'm too young to be here right now. I got to come back when I'm like 80. So I figure when I'm like 80, and because right now I have a young daughter, so I can't really go back and just be an idiot. But when I'm 80, I can. So. Yeah. And
she can, and that way you got to go back so that she has a place to bring, to go visit, or bring the grandkids if that's in the picture. You got to be the cool grandpa that gives everyone like, oh my God, we got to go to grandpa's and hear all the cool stories about the sharks and the dolphins, and it's clear that you are a nature boy, because I mean, I can't tell if that's real behind you, or if that's a TV happening with the fish tank.
No, it's fake. If they start fighting, let me know.
I was going to say, it looks pretty cool. So if you're watching on YouTube right now, you can definitely see how in the outside there's really tall trees. It's lush and beautiful. And then what was that?
Those trees are real.
The trees are real. The trees are real. And you've got all this fresh wood. Definitely looks like you are in Oregon. This leads me to my next question. You've reached a level of success that a lot of people genuinely can't imagine, and everyone, it's going to look different. Some people are going to have Bentleys, some people are going to have second home. All of this to ask, when money isn't an object, what do you want?
Calm, peace and calm.
What does that look like to you?
I don't want people coming to me asking me for shit. I don't want to be around people. I got contractors crawling all over my place, and I don't want that. I want those people gone. I live on a fair bit of property with a pretty big high wall around me just to keep people out. I don't want people coming to ask me for $12 million or $60,000 or try to kidnap me. That's what like I personally think of. I did not know by starting out a water bottle company that I'd be going through. Like, had I known all of the shit that I have to go through, some of it sounds like first world problems, but having people try to kidnap me, like, I did not know that would be a thing. And
let's talk about that.
I've never talked about this before.
Why not?
Thank you so much for listening to this episode with Travis today. Remember, this is part 1 of 2. So if you have enjoyed this episode, you know that you're going to want to listen to the rest. We are going to be covering so much more where it comes to his stories, his beliefs, where all of this has come from, what's going on now, and honestly, just what the fuck happened. So without further ado, please make sure you are sharing this episode, making sure that this story gets out there and he's getting the recognition and support that he craves and deserves and he has earned. I'm so thrilled to have shared this episode with you. I'm so looking forward to the next. And with that being said, make sure to share the episode on your social media, take a quick screenshot, and I will reshare this, repost everywhere, tag myself on Hotter Than Health, and I look forward to hearing from you all on how you like this episode. We'll talk to you next week.